and what it actually means to create polarity in your relationship and to create a dynamic where you feel like you can trust your man to handle shit. Because when I work with women, and the majority of women who come to me are extremely high functioning women, very capable. They would consider themselves overachievers, perfectionists, type A kind of women. These women are typically running things in their lives. They might be running things at work, running things at home. By all intents and purposes, you really can do it all. However, you don't want to. And when this kind of woman is in a relationship with whatever kind of man, well, we're going to keep him out of the picture for a moment. What tends to happen is the woman goes into overfunctioning, where she will find ways to, quote, pick up the slack or to do the things that she sees needs to be done at the time she thinks they need to be done. And this creates a certain imbalance in the relationship when it comes to polarity. Polarity simply being one partner is playing at the masculine pole, the pole that is more oriented toward going, doing, achieving, directionality, confidence, leadership, giving clear direction and command. Layman's terms. There's so much more I can say about it, but we'll leave it there for now, and the other partner is playing in the feminine pole. This is more the pole or the energy of receptivity, emotionality, intuition, receiving, taking direction. So being the follower, whereas the masculine is being the leader. And what keeps attraction alive and spark alive is when one partner is playing on either pole. Now, how most women prefer this to go is that the man's playing in the masculine pole and the woman is playing in the feminine pole. And so, in order to have the thing that we call spark, or the feeling of trust, or the feeling of being able to surrender, which is a loaded term that most people don't actually know what that looks like in day to day life, is what I'm about to share. And what is often required to get to a dynamic where we feel like we can trust our man to handle things is actually very surprising. And it's letting him drop the ball, letting things go undone, letting something get fucked up or missed, or, and that is very, very uncomfortable for a high achieving woman who has her shit together. Because often what this kind of woman will do is she will step in and she'll handle it before the ball gets dropped. Now, there are times and places where, of course, it's inappropriate to drop the ball, like picking your kid up from school. However, there are a number of places where the ball can actually get dropped, and that is necessary for you to have polarity in your relationship with your male partner and for you to begin to establish trust for him. Now, you might be saying, Lee, how in the hell would I establish trust for my man if I've asked him to do something and he doesn't do it? Or if the ball is getting dropped? That's a good question. So, my answer to that is if you are constantly picking up the slack, so to speak, or doing the thing before he can get to it, or before he feels the impact, the negative impact on you, on him, on the relationship of dropping the ball or not doing the thing in a timely manner, and then there are negative consequences, unless he can associate into that and understand the full picture, then 9 times out of 10, things won't change. If there is somebody always picking up after us and we are not ever feeling the consequence or the impact of something, well, then what is our impetus to change? And I really, let me leave it there. A big part of creating trust in a relationship is actually extending the energy of trust and having faith. And by virtue of what faith means, it means we don't know if the thing is going to happen or not. There's no way we can guarantee it. That's what faith in a higher power means. We have no way to prove that God exists or source, the universe exists, but we trust, we have faith in something we cannot see or tangibly touch. And trust in a relationship works the same way. So before you have proof that he is going to do the thing, we have to extend trust. And where there is not yet trust built, we as women who want a polarized relationship where we trust our male partner get to do the really delicious work of holding space for what comes up inside of us, the sensations, the emotions, the thoughts, the stories, the fears, the anxieties, all the proof that he never did it before, so why should he do it now? Or all the stories about how our dad was in a relationship and so our husband must be the same way. Whatever is there for us, we get to do the delicious work of navigating that, holding it, and not projecting it out into the relationship. And in these sorts of situations, there might be a number of times where the ball does get dropped before the spill gets cleaned up. And that's something that if we want to have a truly polarized relationship where we trust our male partner to handle things, that we deal with what happens inside of us. And when we do bring that to him, we bring it to him from a vulnerable place of sharing the impact on us and using self responsible language. For example, hey, when I asked you to pick up milk and eggs so I could bake the cake for the PTA meeting tomorrow, and you forgot to do it, I felt really hurt. I felt mistrustful. I felt angry because it was really important to me that our son, Johnny, had cake for his friends and that I had cake for the other parents at the meeting. And the need of mine that wasn't being met was um, trust, reliability. And so my request next time is that if you're unable to pick up the milk and eggs, that you share that with me or that you volley that task back to me so I can put it on my list and ensure that it gets done. I'm just really wanting open communication. And so you can hear how something like that sounds way different than you always forget, you never do this, I can't trust you. When we go in to attack our partner's character, as tempting as it may feel sometimes, and as accurate as those words may be, we have to ask ourselves, is what I'm about to say going to create connection and intimacy, or is it going to create separation, as tempting as saying the thing might feel? And if our goal is to create connection and intimacy, then we ought to choose our words carefully because there are a set of words and there's kind of expression that will lead to that. And there are a set of words and there's a kind of expression that will detract from that. And so in these cases, when trust has been broken, and that is the very thing we're trying to build, if we want to build it, then we as women get to let our partner in to the impact of that trust being broken so that our partner can actually see what is happening for us. And there is a space for him without his defenses, because we're not attacking, to really sit with us in that emotion. But if we are going on the attack mode and we are blaming and saying, you do this, you never do that, then there's no space for him to sit with us in the emotion. And thus the cycle continues to repeat itself again. The pattern of us not fully touching our emotions repeats, of us pointing the blame repeats, of him getting defensive or shutting down repeats. And then we never get to build the trust that we actually want. So, in summary, if we want a polarized relationship with our male partner and we want to trust his ability to show up in the relationship and do the things that he says he's going to do or that we would love for him to do, then sometimes the very necessary path there is letting the ball drop. We've got to let the ball drop and we've got to be able to sit with the discomfort of that ball dropping and open our heart to him and share what's happening when the ball has dropped to let him in to feel the impact of that thing. Unless any human feels the impact of their action and can truly examine it without being attacked, the pattern will stay in place. So, food for thought today is if you are a woman and you are trying to build a relationship with a male partner where you feel like you are truly held, supported, you are in deep trust, then where are there places where you can actually extend that trust? Number one. And are there places where maybe you can let the ball drop and then you can let your partner in to see some vulnerable part of you and you can share that with him so that you can be on the path to rewiring the pattern?